Hello and welcome to today's live English lesson here on the AM Language YouTube channel. Let's see here. Can I find today's lesson? I hope you guys can. If you go to the AM Language YouTube channel, you'll have to click on the actual channel, and there you can see today's live video. So make sure you go there. It's always really important to, when we're doing this, that you guys go click on the link, or click on AM Language's YouTube channel to find the link. Now, in today's video, we are going to look at what you guys can expect this week on the AM Language YouTube channel, and we'll also have a little look at one or two questions. And you could come in with your own questions to do with learning English. Arena F, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining. Privyet, that's the point, yes, privyet. Yes, so what to expect this week on the AM Language YouTube channel. First of all, make sure you subscribe and like and share the video. So in today's, Francesco, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. And Joro Perez, thank you very much for joining as well. Make sure you are all subscribed if you aren't already. So welcome to today's lesson. Let's just see what you guys can expect. So this week, there are only going to be 3 lessons this week. This is because I'm going to be on holiday on Thursday, Friday, and next Monday and next Tuesday. So there will be a week. There won't be a lesson on Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I'm taking a very long weekend. So I'm going on holiday. That's why there won't be any lessons on Thursday, Friday this week, and Monday and Tuesday next week. Anyway, for this week, there will be 3 lessons. There's this lesson today, Monday, what to expect this week. Tuesday, we're going to have strange English spelling, and Wednesday, we're going to have everyday English idioms. That is what we're going to look at. There will also be another short video that I'm going to upload. This will be a teacher tip video, the 3rd in our series. So this week you can expect to see 3 live videos and 1 short video. Alida, good afternoon and welcome to today's lesson. Thank you so much for joining. A big thank you to everyone who watches on a regular basis and to everyone who has subscribed. We are getting closer and closer to our target, which is excellent. So that is what you guys can expect this week. And to all of you in Malta, it's really important that you, if you are thinking of coming to Malta, it's important that you do get your vaccine. And if you are in Malta and you would like to have physical classes in the future, one of the requirements will be that you guys are going to have your vaccines. So I know that the school is trying to help students to organize their vaccines, and I encourage everybody to try and get their vaccine as soon as possible. The more students that have their vaccine, the sooner we can return to physical classes. And that's what we would like. That's what we would prefer, physical classes. It's online classes are good. They have their purpose. They can still be a good place to learn. But ultimately, if you're going to come to Malta, you want to have physical lessons. So please try and make sure that you have the paperwork of a vaccine so you can actually have your physical live lessons, because that's what we'd like ultimately. So now that we've looked at that, let's have a little look at this language question. Okay, and this language question is quite a simple one, and that is this. The question is, when should I use phrasal verbs? Now, phrasal verbs, for those of you, now all of you probably know what a phrasal verb is, but just in case you don't know, a phrasal verb is when you have a verb and you have a preposition. And some students have asked, okay, can I use phrasal verbs in formal language? And this is a good question. Now, you can certainly use phrasal verbs when it's informal. So let's say you're talking about a bill, okay? Yes, let's say you're talking about a bill at a restaurant, for example. At the end of the meal, you get a bill, okay? And let's say the bill is, okay, for some reason can I use the, nope, I can't. Okay, but I can't get the euro sign up on my laptop. Let's just go with the dollar. Okay, let's say you end up with a bill of $200. Okay, the phrasal verb when you build on a bill. Okay, so you're adding more and more and more expense to the bill. The phrasal verb you can use is you run up a bill. So, for instance, you have run up a bill, because present perfect, run up a bill of $200. You ran up a bill of $200. So we can use this phrasal verb, ran up or run up. And in simple English, you would say you have, you have a bill of $200. You effectively replacing the word spent. Okay, you have spent $200 worth of wine, for example. So you run up a bill. You spend money, and your bill is $200. So, can you use this informally? Of course, you can use phrasal verbs informally. However, can you use them formally? It's a good question. Generally speaking, I would encourage people to try and avoid using phrasal verbs when they're writing very formal documents. So if you're writing, for instance, if you're writing an essay for university, you want to be careful. Now, it's because it's not to say you cannot use phrasal verbs in formal writing, because you can, but you have to be careful. This is because a lot of phrasal verbs are usually, you will use a lot of verbs within a context that might be informal. So, for instance, let's say you are actually asking for a bill, for example, from someone, or you're asking someone to pay. Informally, okay, you would say, oh, he ran up a bill of $200, okay. But you wouldn't say that to the customer. If you work in a hotel or if you work in a restaurant, you're not going to say you've run up a bill of $200. You're not going to say that. That would be a bit informal for that environment. And that's something we need to think about. It's the environment. Can I say I ran up $100 in books? Yes, you can. I mean, if potentially, let's say, if it's to do with a library, for example, or you keep on buying and buying books, yeah, you can run up a bill of $100 for books. Yes, for whatever. Anything you buy, if you keep on adding to it and you have not paid yet, then you run up a bill. Okay, so for instance, you go to a supermarket, for example, and you're shopping, you're going around and you're putting lots of things into your basket or your trolley, and you have not paid yet. Yes, that's the important thing. To use the phrasal verb run up a bill, okay, to run up a bill, this is used before you have paid. You can, if you are telling a story, you can also use it in the past as well. But it's typically, this is usually, we're going to use this before you've paid. So you've put all this thing together, you get to the counter, and you can see that you have run up a bill of $200 shopping, and you have to pay that bill. Or whatever word you choose to use. And that's why we can use it. But in a formal environment, now, like I said, the environment is going to make a really big difference. So, for example, we would say, okay, if you work in a hotel, you're not going to tell the person, oh, you have run up a bill of $200. No. You would say, formally, you would say, okay, and you would say something like, okay, your bill, if you were to tell the person, usually these days people just show you what something costs, but if you were to say anything, you would say, your bill comes to $200, for example. You're more likely to use the term comes to. Your bill comes to $200, for example. Again, you could say your shopping comes to, let's go with $150, for example. You can also use another word, amounts to. So your bill amounts to $70, for example. This is the more likely language you're going to use. It's more formal. We're not going to use the term run up, really. So here we can see this sort of, we've got to be careful with our phrasal verbs. We need to pick, and if we do choose to use a phrasal verb, we've got to be careful. So I'm going to give you an example, because there's some phrasal verbs that are more formal than others. And these formal ones you can use. So we can say, how much we spent? We run up around $100. Very close, Perez. You can say, how much have we spent? And the response can be, oh, we ran, because now you've asked the question in the past, so the answer is going to be in the past, Perez. So we ran up a bill of $100. Notice, by the way, I'm keeping the verb and the preposition together. I'm not saying we ran a bill up of $100. The verb and the preposition should be next to each other. Okay, so now you might be thinking, what about phrasal verbs that I could use? Here we are then thinking about context again, maybe something formal and academic. So let's say you've got this sentence, okay. Let's say this project is made up of 5 main elements. Okay, for example, you've used the phrasal verb made up. Okay? Now, you've got some choices. Now, if you want to use a more formal phrasal verb, you could use comprised of. So the project is comprised of 5 main elements. Okay? Comprised of. It's not as informal, it's quite formal. However, if you didn't want to use a phrasal verb, because there's always another alternative, most of the time you can say this project or the project. Let's go with the project. The project consists of 5 main elements, for example. And that way we are building our language. Now, do you have the verb plus preposition? Yes, you've got comprised of, you've got consist of. But what am I getting at here? Well, again, the structure of a phrasal verb, you need to think about your phrasal verb in terms of its formality. So, made up or make up is relatively, hello, good afternoon, Evelina. Make up is everyday language. The more it's everyday, especially for informal language, the more you can see how you would use it informally. But if you're writing an email for work or writing an assignment, you're going to use different words. And this is because it's not because of the preposition you need to think about, it's your choice of verb. So to use a word such as comprised or consist is a more advanced level of English. You're using a more advanced vocabulary. Because it's more advanced, it is going to be probably, in this case, more formal. If you were writing something for work or you were writing an essay, you should be looking to use words like comprised or consist instead of made. Again, it's a bit like when we look at get. Okay, get is what we call, again, very everyday language. So, if I'm writing a story, for example, I might say, John got up early to make breakfast, for example. Here I'm using an easy word. Get, got, very easy. And as a result, we tend to use this more with informal language. But if we are writing a story, for example, we're not going to use get or got. We're going to use a different word, such as John awoke early early to make breakfast. Okay. So automatically, I thought of the word get, but then I want to think to myself, can I choose a different word? And this is where we can use it. We can use awoke instead of got up, for example. Let's do another one. We might have something like Sarah trying to get over the relationship. Okay. So to get over means to move on. Okay, you've got two different, once again, we've got two different phrasal verbs. Okay. Get over is very informal. We can say Sarah tried to move on from the relationship. That's already better. Okay, relationship. And then we can perhaps even move this even further. So again, if you're writing a story, for example, and you've got get over, you've got move on, try to move on, for example, so move past. You might then think to yourself, right, can I think of something a little bit different? Can I increase the level, perhaps? So you've got get over, you've got moved on, and you can also use something like Sarah tried to what would be a good one? Sarah tried to we can then say, like, for instance, Sarah tried to dismiss her thoughts of her past relationship, for example. So again, it's about trying to always can we find a better word? So Perez says, can we use move on for a new job position? Yes, you do move on from one job position. You can move, move on is simply, there's the past, this is the future. To get to the future, you move on. You move on physically and you move on psychologically, mentally as well. So you can move on from your past job. Other words as well would be progress, for example. After the last job, James progressed on. That's the preposition of progressed on to a different and more challenging job, for example. So, once again, we've got quite a lot of words. My point is this: are some phrasal verbs going to be used really and truly for informal situations? Yes, absolutely. Can you use phrasal verbs in formal language? Yes, you can, but, and this is the important thing, but you need to think about the verb. Try and think, as you develop your range of English and range of vocabulary, you want to try and develop your range of vocabulary so you don't end up using these very informal, everyday phrasal verbs like run up or get over. You want to try and move, and it's mainly because of the verb. So there's always going to be another verb for get. There's always going to be another verb for move. You'll always find another verb for run, for example, and make. So that is the point of the exercise here. Okay. So, guys, let's finish off with a little activity. What I'd like you to do is I would like you to choose the best alternative. Okay? So, I'm going to write 1. Okay, and 2. Okay. Okay. Let's see what you guys come up with. So you've got sentence one and sentence 2. She ran up a bill and of $200, and the program was made up of 2 parts. What you need to do is take A and B. A and B, for instance, maybe A goes with 2, or B goes with 2, or maybe A goes with 1 and B goes with 1. Francesca says 2 goes with A and 1 goes with B. Alida agrees, 1 goes with B and 2 goes with A. Okay, excellent, guys, correct. Irina F, same answers, correct. So yes, 2 goes with A and 1 goes with B. Well done, everybody, excellent. And that's your little language tips for today. So, sure, it's good to know what phrasal verbs like run up, get over, for example. But as we go through the levels, especially when you're faced with writing something more formal, yes, you can use phrasal verbs. You have to be careful. Make sure you think about your verb. The more formal something is, the more the more we need to think about our choice of verb. In some cases, you might not end up even using a phrasal verb. You don't always need to use a phrasal verb. You might just end up using a verb. We have to be careful. So thank you very much, guys. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow at 4:30 with another live English lesson. And tomorrow we're going to look at some English spelling and some strange English spelling. Thank you very much, Alida. You too. Keep safe. Thank you very much, Evelina, Irina F, Francesca Perez, and everyone else who was watching. Francesca and everyone else who's been watching and participated in today's lesson. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow and take care. Bye for now.